I'm going to say something that might piss off the productivity bros. Consistency, it's not a personality trait. It's not something you're born with. And it's definitely not proof that someone else is more disciplined, more motivated, or more together than you. And I've been thinking about discipline quite a bit because honestly, right now, my habits are a fucking mess. I'm recording this from Brazil. If you've been following, I'm a month into what's meant to be a year-long Latin American adventure. And it's been absolutely fabulous. It's super fun, new places, new energy, loads of sunshine, loads of freedom. It's been awesome. But my routine has completely fallen apart. And honestly, as a health coach, it's been humbling. While I was living in Singapore, my routine was properly dialed in, right? I would wake up at 6 a.m. straight away, go downstairs, get some coffee, and then sit outside on my terrace with my laptop, do some really great deep work for about 2 hours or so, super quiet with the birds. It was lovely, honestly, kind of perfect. And then I would go to the gym, which was 2 minutes away from my house. After an hour's workout, shower, brunch, back online, feeling like I had already won the day. Usually, I would have an evening walk just to clock my steps and get a bit of fresh air. Pretty much the same route every evening without even thinking about it. And it worked beautifully. I was consistent, I was productive, I felt good in my body and my brain. But then we left. And obviously, that's a new time zone, new hotels or Airbnb every couple of days. Some gyms are awesome, some are pretty grim, some are just non existent. And there's no familiar coffee spots or definitely no home terrace. So I'm working from the dining table or a small workspace if we're staying in a hotel, or just worse, from the hotel lobby. It's been a bit chaotic, and the structure that made my consistency super easy is gonzo. And here's the thing, I'm a health coach. I work with clients very much on this type of stuff. I talk about it in my newsletter and on my podcast all the time. And still, I forgot what it actually feels like to lose the environment that's doing the heavy lifting. Because what this whole thing has reminded me, and what I want you to take away from this, I wasn't more disciplined somehow, magically, while living in Singapore. I wasn't more disciplined, and probably neither are the people you admire. They just living in environments that do more of the work for them, more of that heavy lifting for them. So if your habits keep falling apart, it's probably not a discipline problem. It's your environment quietly working against you. It's a design problem. And this is exactly what we're talking about today. Ready? Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Noemi, former queen of bad habits and corporate go-getter turned well-being coach and personal growth junkie. And in a world full of overwhelming wellness advice, we're here to cut through the noise. This is your space to master healthy habits, transform your mindset, own your well-being, and design a life you love on your terms. We're ditching the highlight reels and embracing the whole messy, imperfect journey towards becoming our absolute best selves. You're the author of your own story. So are you ready to write the next chapter? Let's go, and welcome to Unwritten Potential. Okay, so we love to make discipline the hero of the story, right? Grind harder, push through, be stronger than your excuses. All that fucking toxic hustle nonsense. But there's a piece of research I come back to again and again because it cuts through the bullshit. Researchers at the University of Chicago looked at self-control and daily temptations. And what they found was surprising, but also kind of relieving. People with high self-control don't actually resist more temptations than everyone else. They encounter fewer of them. Let that land for a second. They've set up their lives so discipline isn't required as often. The decision is already made. The friction is already removed. The environment quietly nudges them in the right direction. So that's not discipline, that's not willpower, that's design. When I say environment, I don't just mean your physical space, although that absolutely matters. I mean everything that shapes what you do without thinking. Where things live in your space, when you do things, what's automated and what requires a decision, requires brain power, who you're surrounded by, and what's normal in that group. And when you actually have energy versus when you're totally depleted, for example, like me at the end of the day. My routine, my Singapore routine worked because every part of that environment was supporting me. The terrace in the morning, that made my deep work super inviting. The birds were chirping, it was super quiet. The 10 a.m. gym slot, that matches when I actually have energy. And it was also so close to my house that I had no excuse. Plus, it's a bunch of people I loved hanging out with. The evening walk, super easy. Again, didn't have to think about it too much, right? The route was already made. It was a no-brainer. I wasn't resisting temptation. I had designed temptation out. Now here, while I'm on the road, so right now in Brazil, but next month I'll be in Colombia and then Mexico, I have to rebuild all of this from scratch. And again, super humbling. Because health coach or not, without the environmental support, I'm just a person with good intentions and very average willpower, like everyone else. And this matters because we're in January. Everywhere right now in gyms and at homes all over the world, people are trying to be more disciplined, more workouts, better sleep, less scrolling, more reading, more everything. Being online exhausts me at the moment. There's just so much noise. And again, very aware that I'm probably adding to it. But anyway, and most people are relying on willpower to make it happen. Last Friday was Quitters Day, the second Friday in January. And Strava, the fitness tracking company, coined the term after their data showed that around 80% of people have abandoned their New Year's resolution by then, by the second Friday in January. 80%. Now, that is not because 80% of people are lazy or uncommitted. It's because when you're stressed out or tired, your brain stops caring about your long-term goals. It shifts into, let's get through today kind of modes. Quick rewards, low efforts, immediate relief. That's not mindset flaw, right? That's a stressed nervous system doing exactly what it is designed to do. Discipline is a backup generator. It's not meant to power the whole house. So let me ask you this. What if the question isn't, how can I be more disciplined? What if the better question is, what would make this easier? What's creating friction right now? What decision could be made once instead of every day? What in your environment is quietly pulling you off track? And what's missing that will make the right choice easier? What's missing that would make the right choice obvious? So my Singapore routine, I didn't decide to write in the morning. I didn't hype myself up or force it. Again, my balcony, my terrace was there, the coffee machine was there, the birds were singing anyway. Writing at that time was simply the path of least resistance. And that's what I'm inviting you to do, to think about what would be for you, for the habits you're trying to build, for the things that you're trying to do in your life, where you find that there is friction, what is the path of least resistance? Now, I need to rebuild that, find the equivalent, a new default that fits this season of my life instead of trying to recreate the old one perfectly. Because here's what I've learned. Consistency isn't about trying harder. It's about designing conditions where the thing you want to do becomes the easy option. So let's make this practical. I know January, there's a lot of that new year, new me energy, but you don't have to overhaul your entire life or to come up with routines that you're gonna abandon in a couple of days. Just pick one habit you want to build or maybe get back to. And instead of asking why you're not motivated enough, ask this: what's one thing in my environment making this harder than it needs to be? Think of your setup, not your discipline, not your mindset, your setup. It might be physical, like where something lives. It might be timing, like asking too much of yourself when you're already depleted or when you don't have the energy yet. It might be friction, like too many steps between you and the thing you want to do. What's one small tweak that would make the right choice easier this week? Treat it like an experiment, not a test of your character. And honestly, this is what I'm doing right now on the road, rebuilding my defaults that actually work in this version of my life without beating yourself up. The bottom line is this: you're not less disciplined than the people you admire. You just have a harder setup. If you take anything away from this episode, let it be this: you are not less disciplined than the people you admire. You just have a harder setup. That's a design problem. And the good news, design can be changed at any time. Thank you so much for being here with me for this short but hopefully sweet episode. If this episode resonated, please send it to someone who's been calling themselves lazy lately or calling themselves unmotivated. And if you're not subscribed yet, you can visit unwrittenpotential.com to visit my Substack and subscribe there. Have the best week. Please let me know how you got on with your experiment this week, and I will speak to you really soon. Bye.